Are you looking for an artifact deck built for the cEDH format? Then do I have just the deck for you. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Roxora, and here we do all things card games. And today we're going back to the tried and true of a commander deck tech for Match the Gathering. It's been a while since I've done some Magic content. I've been so busy with Lorcana, enjoying that, but also obviously can't get away from the good old MTG. So yeah, today we're going to be taking a look at a deck list submission, talking about the commander, the individual card choices, and the strategy overall, and giving it a rating out of 10. Before we get into the actual deck list, remember to hit that like button, comment down below, and consider subscribing if you're looking for any kind of card game content, whether it's Magic, Lorcana. I do a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything, if there's new card games coming out, I'll probably discuss those. So anything related to card games, I'll probably cover on this channel or have covered at some point. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this deck list. All right, here is our deck list for today's video. I've got a submission from Battle Brother B, a friend of the channel. A friend of mine, and remember that if you too also want one of your lists reviewed, you can do so in the comments, and you can also do it on my Discord. We have a channel for that, so all of that is in the description, or just put it in the comments and I will take a look at it, as long as it's in something like this. Again, it could be Goldfish, Moxfield, something that I can look at. Don't just send me text. But anyways, we've got a Esper Urza stacks Robot Smackdown. That's basically what we're doing here. So there's no actual primer here because there's no actual combos. They've kind of, told me. I've also seen this deck in action, seen it being played overall, and so I kind of know how the deck is designed to work. And yeah, let's take a look at the commander here. We've got Urza Chief Artificer. This is a card from the Brothers War commander deck, so not in standard, but printed right there. And it works pretty good for a general. It is 3 and Esper, so 3 blue, black, white, 6 mana for a 4/5, a legendary creature, human artificer. Has affinity for artifact creatures, not artifacts, not creatures. Affinity for artifact creatures. And it says artifact creatures you control have menace. Okay, so you can see some synergy there. Obviously, you get some artifact creatures going, and you give a menace. And it helps you do that because at the beginning of your end step, you create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets ++1 for each artifact you control. So you can see just by itself, you can spit it out and just start making constructs, and those constructs can start beating down. Now, I said this was in the cEDH format, and so why, there's no combos going on here. You might ask, well, why the heck are you playing Urza, and why the heck are there no combos or anything like going on? This is basically just a stacks deck, as you can see here, which means that you're trying to slow down the game for anyone who's not familiar with the term stacks, right? So there is a lot of effects here that are disruptive elements that either make it difficult for your opponents to play, or straight up make it impossible for your opponents to win the game, because of just how most combo decks in the cEDH format work. So this is sorted by name, not mana value. People are going to come at me in the comments. Professor Amateur, I know, is one. So first of all, there's a bunch of effects that are very effective cards that you'll pretty much see in every single stacks deck. So you got things like Archon of Emeria. You've got things like Aetherstone Canonist that prevent your opponent from casting spells. Multiple spells on a turn. A lot of decks, Breach decks, Thassa's Oracle decks, and pretty much every other deck in between will be unable to effectively win the game while these cards are still on the battlefield. Now, obviously, if they're removed, right, these effects are no longer in place. But while they're on the battlefield, you can be pretty comfortable knowing that no one is going to be efficiently able to win the game. Also got things like Durandith Magistrate that just straight up shut off the ability for those kinds of decks to work. It also turns off commanders. Right, this card is bane of many existence to people that want to rely on their commanders for any kind of advantage. And you've got your classic cards like Opposition Agent and Orcish Bowmaster from black. So this would be the reason, right, to run the Urza here, right? You get access to all these cards in addition to some of the powerful interaction spells from blue, as we'll go over here, right? So not only can you play stacks pieces, and are you trying to, but you're also playing blue, so you can also run some of these efficient counter magic pieces, which we'll talk about. So yeah, so let's go over I guess some of the creatures here, which we'll talk about. So I guess probably should go honestly top down, or maybe we'll go this way because these guys are easy to explain. Ornithopter and Phyrexian Walker are really powerful to turbo out your commander. Right, they come down and they make your commander just one cheaper. They're also just an efficient artifact. I think there is also no, we don't have some of the mana here. Any of the, like, you know, Paradise Mantle or anything like that. But these are just efficient cards. They do seem a little bit weak, but if you don't have your commander out, but I guess, you know, you also have things like Mox Opal, so you want to make sure that you have as many. And I guess the artifact or the construct tokens from Urza, right, care about your artifact count. So these feel a little bit weak to me sometimes, but I know that these are perfectly playable cards in cEDH, so I'm not gonna rail on them too much. Walking Ballista here, I don't believe we have. Yeah, there is no combo. Yeah, there is no thing trying to combo with it from what I saw, because there is no, you know, Heliod or anything like that. Yeah, it's literally just here to just be a artifact creature. You can, if you have a bunch of mana, you can sink mana into it and start pinging off your opponent's creatures. It seems fine. It is also a way to use your mana, I should say, without casting a spell, right? So again, like, you can cast a spell and then Canonist or Ameria, right, shut you off from casting another spell, but you can still activate your Ballista. As per Sentinel is a staple, Archivist Volgma is an effective draw engine or a disruption piece, because your opponent does not want to use search effects. Gilded Drake is just a great blue card, being able to just steal one of your opponent's best creatures and give them a measly 3/3 with flying. That's really nice. Kind of a nombo with the next card here in Hushbringer to shut off ETBs, but you know, if you have Hushbringer plus Gilded Drake, you do just get a 2-mana 3/3 flying, so I can't be that bad. Yeah, Hushbringer can be a very annoying card because it shuts off both ETBs and death triggers. So a lot of the Hulkless are going to struggle to win through this, and just any other kind of effects like that also will be cut off from Hushbringer. Speaking of Hulkless, Lion Sash is an effective card in those kinds of, against those kinds of strategies, and just is a great card in general. Getting to eat cards in the graveyard and just be large, right? Is you know, Scavenging Ooze. It is basically Scavenging Ooze but in white, and that's pretty good. We talked about Bowmaster, just one of the best cards. Ornithopter Paradise is actually a very powerful card in this deck because it essentially adds 2 mana towards your commander. So you play this out on turn 1 or turn 2, and it's like gonna pretty much accelerate you heavily towards your commander. So that's very nice. Spirit preventing card draw effects. So Ristic Studies, One Rings are effectively made useless. Steel Overseer is just a great card once you have sealed down the game, right? You just pump up your team. There is also, I should say, is there? I apologize. I know I said there's no combos. We do still just have the Thassa's Oracle combos in here. We've got Demonic Consultation, and I believe we have the Tainted Pact too. So those cannot be done again while under Aether Sworn Canonist and Eidolon. And Archon and things like that. But it is still just good to have the ability to just be like, hey, I just win the game. And also, again, Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact are great cards by themselves to be able to search up key cards should you be in that desperate mode, in desperation mode. So yeah, apologies. I said at the beginning there's no combos, but no combos that require a primer. I guess I should say no complicated combos, no complicated lines. It's a straightforward A plus B combo, so that's okay. So yeah, Archon and Eidolon here, Opposition Agent we talked about. Scrapyard Recombiner here is good to search up some key constructs here. I believe the big ones being, again, the Walking Ballista. Again, I don't know how we're making infinite. Like, I don't think there's a way to make infinite, at least from what I I've seen. There's a Phyrexian altar that might be adding something. I don't see a way to make this thing insane. So I'm not sure why this is here. Cause it can go get Steel Overseer. Cool. Yeah, I'm still struggling to see why this card is here, cause I don't see any way for this deck to make infinite mana, and so yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm trying to look for it, but I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. Search for a construct card, reveal it, put it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it just draws you, it gets you your ballista and your Steel Overseer, but yeah, I don't know if this card warrants that. Yeah, this card confuses me. I'll ask Battle Brother about this. But in any case, we've got there's Academy Rector, because Academy Rector goes and gets an enchantment, but what's the enchantment that you're getting? No, I guess you're just getting one of these powerful cards. Or a creature, right? Is it not? Yeah, it's just any enchantment. Okay. Sorry, Tymna, powerful card, especially when you're beaten down. Academy, I mean, their entire deck's built around Tymna, right? So that's a pretty obvious one. So Academy Rector's here. If you combine it, if you're able to kill it, or you just combine it with a sack outlet. So I guess like you do Phyrexian Altar. I don't really see another sack outlet here, but I guess it just also disincentivizes people from attacking you. You can also kill it with your own ballista, I guess. Yeah, there's not a lot of really enough sacrifice outlets for Academy Rector, but I guess, again, if you just need the one. The Phyrexian Altar. Bowmaster, I guess. Someone draws 2 cards, you can Bowmaster it. Anyways, if this ever dies, right, you just get a really powerful enchantment from over here, or one of your Eidolons. So that's pretty powerful. Drana and Lavinia is a great card to turn off your opponent's abilities and give it to yourself. They can be, not really a combo here, but it's just a really powerful card to just stop your opponent from doing things. Speaking of, here's the same card, just without the steal effect. It's kind of funny how you see Drana and Linvala before Linvala. But yeah, both of these effects are really good at stopping Mana Dorks, Thrasios, all of those things. We got Children of the Apocalypse here. I wish I could change effectively the version here. Can I do that? I'm not going to worry about it. But 4/5 Death Touch. And whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So again, similar to Orcish Bowmaster. And once you have slowed down the game enough, this card is going to do some serious damage while also buffering your life total, which is nice. And then last but not least, and probably the most important creature here, an Urza Lord High Artificer. There are also decks built around this card by itself as well. And it is a powerful card. 2 blue for 1/4 Human Artificer. Makes a construct when it enters, and it has the ability to tap an artifact to make a blue mana. The important note here is that this is not a ability of the artifact. It is the ability of Urza. So under things like Stony Silence and Collector Oof, Urza still is able to make mana, as it is not an artifact itself. And again, the artifacts are just being used to pay for the cost of activating Urza's ability. So very important note there. So this deck isn't just completely dead to any kind of artifact hate. Also has the ability here to pay 5, shuffle the deck, flip the top card, and you get to play that card for free. And that can be a powerful way to win the game if you have infinite mana. But again, I have not really seen a way to make the infinite mana. Again, someone, if they see the way how to do it, let me know in the comments. But it is just a great card. And when you are making tons and tons of artifacts, of constructs with Urza, Chief Artificer, it's going to be even better. Sorry, I skipped over Tezzeret the Seeker here because it's not a creature; it's a planeswalker. One of the few planeswalkers that is pretty powerful in the cEDH format, and you've only got a couple. You have things like Narset, you got things like Jace Wielder Mysteries, Oko. It takes a lot for a planeswalker to be really really good in Commander. But this is one of them. It has the ability to untap 2 artifacts, so it can work really well with things like Mana Vault or Basalt Monolith or Grim Monolith. Is Grim Monolith in here? Grim Monolith is not in here. Yeah, again, I don't think there's a combo with Basalt Monolith. I'm not seeing it. In any case, but Urza is just very good with those cards, and also has the ability to search up for a particular artifact. So if there's one that you're particularly looking for, like a Nihil Spellbomb, Grafdigger's Cage, or just a powerful, Mana Rock, you can 0 to go get all of your zeros. That's pretty cool. You can do that as well. So very powerful value card and tutor effect as well. So it's a good one. We got 2 sorcerers here. The rest of the deck is instants and artifacts pretty much. We got Imperial Seal and Demonic Tutor. Again, this deck is just trying to fetch up specific pieces. So a turn 1 or a turn 2 Imperial Seal or Demonic Tutor to go and fetch up like your Archon of Emeria is awesome. So yeah, it's not often that stacks decks want to play these cards, but if you can and your deck can facilitate it, it's pretty good to run these as, again, getting the right piece at the right time is really important for stacks to be successful in the competitive format. We got a bunch of interaction here, and I think it's mostly interaction. There's a couple bit of tutors, which we'll talk about. But mostly interaction here. Offer, again, we talked about Demonic Consultation, Flusterstorm, Path to Exile, Silence, Swan Song, Source to Plowshares, Counterspell, Psychrift Delay, Winds of Rebuke, Fierce Guardianship, Force Negation, Deadly Rollick, and of course the ever-known Force of Will. All these cards are pretty much staples. There's nothing too crazy here. Winds of Rebuke is has pretty much proven itself. Again, it looks like an underwhelming card, but it really is just good. Being able to disrupt any kind of top tutor like a Vampiric Tutor or Mystical Tutor is nice, but again, mostly just milling people. Milling people like that is a minor effect. Really, just the 2-mana bounce is what you're looking for there. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, sorry. We have Enlightened Tutor. Obviously, you're an artifact deck and you're in white, so obviously that's going to be great. Can also go and search up your Rhystic Study and everything. What else we got? I think we showed the Vamp Tutor and the Mystical Tutor. Right, again, Mystical Tutor to search up for your important interaction when you need it, and then obviously Vamp Tutor to do whatever you want. And then I think the only card that we didn't talk about here is Whir of Invention, just a powerful artifact spell. It should be able to cast this for a decent amount and fetch up, again, your key pieces, just like Tezzeret. And it comes right onto the battlefield, and it's instant speed. So that's all good things going for it. At the very worst, you pitch it to Force of Will if you're not in that realm yet. We got 16 artifacts here. Of course, you've got the One Ring. If you are not running the One Ring, and you can, you are making a mistake. That's pretty much where this card is at nowadays. I have a couple decks that purposely don't run it for reasons. My Vadrik deck being one of them, but like that's for a different story. But yeah, pretty much play the One Ring. It's really good. Otherwise, we've got a bunch of Mana Rocks here: Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, Mana Vault, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Basalt Monolith are all pretty much staples. We mentioned Phyrexian Altar as a sacrifice outlet, and what else do we got here? We talked about Nihil Spellbomb as a potential tutor target. Again, if someone's going for a breach combo or a reanimation type effect, this can shut that off pretty efficiently. What else we got? Grafdigger's Cage, turning off graveyard shenanigans entirely. Very powerful effect. And also shutting off things like Kinnan, Bondar Prodigy as well is nothing to scoff at. Any kind of Finale of Devastation type effect. Yeah, so that is also nothing crazy. Lightning Greaves here might look kind of weird, but again, you really want to make sure that your Urza stays on the battlefield. So getting out Urza early and then shoving a Lightning Greaves onto it is pretty nice, assuming you can also keep up your interaction or prevent the game from ending there. Speaking of the game ending, we've got a very powerful effects here in Winter Orb and Static Orb. I believe Static Orb, I'm forgetting which one of these, or if it's both of them. Let me look up the Oracle text on these cards. Yeah, so as I thought, you can actually see here on the details, both of these cards have the text of as long as it's untapped, you do this effect. So both of these really do a good job of shutting off the game. And or so I should say slowing down the game. And if you have Urza Lord High Artificer, it gets really out of hand as you get to turn off the effect just before it gets to your turn by tapping the artifact with its ability, or sorry, with Urza's ability, right? Of making, you just make a blue mana just cause. The card is tapped, and so then it only applies while it's untapped, so the effect is turned off just before it goes to your turn. And yeah, so that is you basically get a one-sided static orb or winter orb effect, and that can be pretty backbreaking. But even without that, static orb and winter orb can be effective while you've got Urza out, as Urza is making creatures every turn, so you don't really care about your stuff not untapping. As long as you're able to prevent the game from ending, if your opponents try to go for something, you can heavily disrupt your opponents with these effects while beating them down with robots, as again the deck implies, the deck name implies. So yeah, those are some really, really powerful effects if you can assemble all of those things together. And again, that's why you really want to run all of these tutor effects like Imperial Seal and Demonic Tutor, so that you can slowly assemble these combinations and really put the nail in the coffin of the game. Got a couple enchantments here. Deafening Silence is again a very powerful stacks piece. Someone plays this against me on turn 1 while I'm playing any of my Izzet or Jeskai piles, and I am crying. So very good there. Obviously, you have the similar, the same staple effects in Remora, Rhystic Study, and also running a copy of Smothering Tithe as punishing, again, even more ways of punishing people for drawing cards. So those are just good value cards that this deck has decided to run. No real problems with that there. Also, I should say Smothering Tithe, making an artifact, making a treasure every time someone draws a card, making your Urza tokens bigger. That also can pack a punch. So, and then we've got Stasis here and Rule of Law, two very powerful disruptive effects. Obviously, everyone knows Rule of Law, the classic stacks card, preventing your opponents from casting more than one spell a turn. Even harder to remove than Archon, as it is an enchantment. And Stasis here is very similar to kind of Static Orb and Winter Orb. There's no way to turn it off between your turns. But again, all you have to do is pay a blue mana. So assuming you can continue to play cards, continue to draw cards, or just have Urza, right? Urza make a token every turn with the Chief Artificer. Tap your Urza, tap the construct to activate Urza's ability, make a blue, and pay for stasis. As long as you can keep doing that, you'll just basically be able to keep stasis going forever, and you'll be able to just pretty much win the game from there. So yeah, in the lands here, I don't think there's anything wild. We do have Urza's Saga, as again, it is just a powerful artifact card, making even more constructs, searching up artifact cards, and yeah. Inventor's Fair, another artifact tutor, also providing you a little bit of life gain. Nothing too crazy there. And then a copy of Academy Ruins for some recursion. Someone kills, your Aethersworn Canonist. You can just put it back on top, which is pretty sweet. So you can just keep your opponents can keep killing it, and you can keep putting it back on top, and it's pretty good. These are a little bit dicey in a 3-color deck, but I think again this deck can win games without ever casting its commander, so long as you can implement the stacks pieces and beat down. And I believe that is it. Again, I still don't see how either the Basalt Monolith or the Phyrexian Arena lead to any kind of infinite. Again, if y'all see it in the comments, again, I will ask our creator here about it when I get the opportunity to. And if I do, I'll put it in the description or put it in the comments or something. But I don't see it, but I don't really think the deck needs it. I think this deck, again, just does a great job of if it is successfully able to slow down the game, can just slam Urza and will just Urza's clock is so fast, right? Just making making a bunch of constructs will just pretty much easily allow you to win the game. And again, if you ever assemble it with any of the Winter Orb or Static Orb effects, it just feels brutal. So yeah. So that's all the cards. As for the strategy as a whole, again, as I was just saying, it is pretty crazy when the deck is able to assemble the right stacks pieces. Again, anytime you're playing stacks in cEDH, excuse me, you do need to make sure that you are playing the correct stacks pieces at the correct time to make sure that they have the most impact on the most players, because you don't want to just play one thing that shuts off one player and then have one of the other two players immediately win the game because you've taken a player essentially out of the game. So it is important to know, right, when and how to deploy stacks effects. But again, assuming you can effectively do that, you can lock down the game, prevent your opponents from winning. This deck just easily wins, and it's hilarious to do it with Urza, Chief Artificer, just smacking your opponent in the face of the robots. I think it's named well. I think it's built well. Yeah. As for, kind of uniqueness or things like that, I think in terms of cEDH, it's fairly unique in terms of stacks deck, right? Usually when I think of stacks decks, I think of, again, Heliod, or I think of, Rocco or something like that, or something like that really puts a pin on the game. This deck is a little bit different, as it's able to, I think the Esper nature of it allows you to run counter magic, meaning, yes, obviously you'd like to lock down the game, but you don't necessarily have to. And I think that's really interesting. Again, assuming you can land a Rhystic Study effect, you can also just play the mid-range game plan. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think being able to flex between all these different angles while just playing a lot of perfectly reasonable cards. There's no, again, besides the Ornithopter and the Walker, and that kind of confused me, and like, again, the Academy Rector and the Phyrexian Altar here, there's not much that really confuses me or I would say is really, really bad. I think a lot of these cards are either staples or very powerful cards in the right scenarios. So yeah, I do. That being said, again, I do think there are some weird things. Like, again, I don't know what the Scrapyard Recombiner is here for. I mentioned the lack of sack outlets for the Academy Rector, and yeah, I think those were the big things that I took note of. Oh, and I guess also the 0 mana artifact creatures here. But besides that, the deck's great. So I think I'll give it probably like a 7. I think it's a solid 7. Again, I think just some of the weird things here, that confuse me. But generally speaking, it is a good deck with a game plan, right? You can tell that there is a game plan here. Again, some of the cards confuse me, but there is this dedicated game plan of stacks at the board, cast Urza, win the game. And I think this build, I should say, does that very well. So yeah, I don't know what else I would like to talk about. I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of this list? Would you guys be interested in trying this out yourself? It's again, price here is expensive, but again, this is the cEDH format. Hopefully you guys are in an environment where you can proxy cards up. On my play group now is pretty much entirely proxy friendly. I do own all the cards for my deck now, but hopefully you all are in an environment where you can just try this out and take it for a spin. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, remember, like, comment, subscribe. Really, really helps me out. Again, if things get a lot of attention, I do take note of it. And if people really want more of a particular content, I do look for signs of that. And if you have a deck list that you want me to take a look at, remember, comments or on the Discord. Again, those will be in the description. Yeah, as long as it's in a format like this, I'm happy to take a look at it, and it'll show up in a video. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.